non-conference schedule out. What you think about that? What you see the final thing put together?
Well, I think the most important thing is like the Maui Invitational. I think any young man that watches college basketball grows up dreaming wanting to play out in Maui, and so obviously the tournament is very difficult, a very daunting task as far as the opponents out there. But I think our guys look forward to that opportunity 20 years from now and say they got a chance to go out and play the Maui Invitational. So I think that's huge. I think the only tournament that even rivals that at this day and age is probably Atlantis now. So I'm excited about that. I think our guys are excited about it. Then you look at the schedule beyond that. You know, the SEC, Big East Challenge, going out and playing Providence. That'll be a good experience for our guys. It'll be a difficult task because they have good guard play. Then going out and playing Loyola. I thought that was an important game for the history of Mississippi State. I didn't want to get wrapped up in venues. I didn't realize this myself from all my time being in the Midwest that Loyola is the only school in the state of Illinois that's won a national championship. So I wanted to make sure to give those guys due as well too. So I think it's a good schedule. Obviously there's not as many home games, but that's a function of like us going from 16 games to 18 games in the SEC. Then obviously with the SEC Big East Challenge, this is our year to be on the road. So there's some things you can't control.
How about opening up at Troy? I mean, not a lot of BCS schools will be willing to do that. You decided to do that, and it'll be a good test for your guys.
Yeah, not a lot, none. I don't think there's any BCS schools opening up on the road at a mid-major school. That was something that was obviously done before I got here. If I had my say-so in it, I would have liked to play the home game first and then went to go play a road game. But because of the schedule constraints that was already there, we couldn't do anything about that. But hey, you got to go play them, whether it be the first game or the second game. Whether our guys can win the game when we play them is probably immaterial.
You had time to consider what to do at point guard with Jacoby out. I know you got Trevante, but how does that position look with depth-wise?
Well, obviously it takes a hit. I think Jacoby Davis was a kid that was going to challenge for a starting position at the point guard spot. So to have him out of the lineup now, you have to make some changes. Trevante Bloodman was always going to be a point guard, so there's not a change there. Whether he was going to be the starter or the backup was remained to be seen with those guys' progression. I think the biggest thing that changes is what you do with Craig Sword. I ultimately want to use Craig Sword as a combo, more of a two than a one. But I don't see him playing any two-guard position now with that happening. I think he's going to be strictly a point guard for us this year. Now, this is all like me evaluating after seeing our guys for 5 weeks. We still got, the fall semester and actual practice and things like that to get through. But my first impressions would be that Trevante and Craig will be our point guards.
How have your freshmen, how's that going, been coming in, working with the older guys?
Well, I think it's been a tremendous asset to our basketball team. I think the one thing that's always happens is the guys get used to like the pace of play and what you expect out of them. Even if it's not more so what they're learning, but more so like how to play and how to go about their business and our approach to the game of basketball. So I think that's been the most important thing for our guys is kind of that shock to their system as far as like how hard we want them to play and their pace of play.
Sorry, I know Greg said to ID ourselves. Brad Locke, Daily Journal. Anyway, we rode in the same plane once. So anyway, Craig Sword, he had that incident a few weeks ago. Kind of how's he responded to that, just maturity-wise?
Well, he was obviously really remorseful about it, and it's a situation hopefully that he grows from and learns from. But his approach to basketball has always been good. It hasn't changed his work ethic or how he goes about his business. More so than anything, it's making him cognizant of what he has to do as far as like taking care of his business off the court.